Hello, this is Mr. Bulby again. We are in CKLA 4th grade, Unit 2, The Middle Ages. Reading out of the Reader, Chapter 8, The Big Question, Why is Magna Carta such an important document? Chapter called The Wayward King, King John, and the Magna Carta. King Richard died in 1199. Although he had spent very little time in England, people still mourned the death of Richard the Lionhearted. Many people had taken up arms and followed his royal crusader to the hot desert in the Middle East. Many fought alongside him in battle. Without children to succeed him, Richard's youngest brother, John, became the next king. King John was not as popular as his brother. For one thing, he failed to hold on to some of England's land in France. Less than 5 years after John became king, the King of France attacked the regions of Normandy and Anjou. These were King John's ancestral lands. John attempted to defend these lands, but without his noble support, he was unsuccessful. Wars cost money, and someone had to pay for them. To do this, King John raised taxes. He taxed nobles and wealthy merchants, and he placed taxes on cities. He also made it more difficult for people to hunt in the royal forests. Dissatisfaction with King John grew among the ruling classes. King John claimed church property and disagreed with the Pope's choice of who should become Archbishop of Canterbury. Now he had yet another enemy. In fact, the Pope was so angry with King John that he instructed the priests in England to limit church services. Most people were prevented from participating in the daily and weekly rituals of the church. These were unsettling times indeed. 2 years later, 1209, the Pope excommunicated King John. Many of the English lords were now completely dissatisfied with their kings. The king was just as unhappy with his nobles. As a result of the feudal system, nobles had a huge amount of power. King John wanted to lessen their power and claim some of their land. The nobles wanted to limit the king's authority. A major conflict was inevitable. Eventually, King John agreed to the Pope's candidate for Archbishop of Canterbury. By this time, some of the more powerful nobles had already decided to act against him. In 1215, following another English military defeat in France and additional taxes, these nobles rebelled and turned against King John. They captured London. For a short time, there was a military standoff between the rebellious nobles and King John. Important group of English nobles rebelling against John, 1215. In the summer of 1215, both sides agreed to talk about their differences. After much debate, the nobles presented King John with a list of demands. These demands were written down in a document that later became known as the Magna Carta, or Great Charter. The charter would guarantee a list of rights to the barons, the townspeople, the church, and freemen. The king was required to consult with the nobles if he wanted to make new laws. The king was also subject to the law of the land. Essentially, Magna Carta limited the king's authority. King John was not pleased. However, it soon became clear that if he did not agree to the charter, his nobles would continue to rebel. In June of 1215, an official seal was placed on the Magna Carta. Copies of Magna Carta were sent out to different parts of the kingdom. Magna Carta was an important written statement that limited the power of English kings. Magna Carta. Magna Carta really only benefited some members of society. Feudal lords, the church, the merchant class, and in a general way, all freemen. Still, the document stated the king must consult with others if he wanted to make new laws or raise taxes, and that court must recognize the rule of the law. In this respect, it is considered to be one of the most important documents in English history. Many of the ideas in this document have been included in the constitutions or governing documents of modern democracies. King John did not have to endure this humiliation for long. 4 months later, he died of fever as a conflict continued to rage throughout England. King John's son, Henry, was crowned king of this troubled land. Henry III was just 9 years old. Within 50 years of King John's death, England would have a new governing body or parliament. This parliament included the king, the lords, the knights, and the townspeople in England, providing more people a say in the government and laws. It's the Magna Carta document. Pretty cool. Robin Hood. Did the English hero Robin Hood really exist? It is difficult to say. The earliest reference to the legend of Robin Hood appears to date about 1377, and the oldest manuscript is from the late 1400s. The stories of Robin Hood's adventures first appeared in forms of ballads. As the legend goes, Robin and his band of men lived in the forests in northern England. Robin was thought to be a hero because he challenged the local lords and even the king. English kings had raised taxes and introduced strict hunting laws, which prevented many people from entering royal forests. It is possible that there really was an outlaw like Robin Hood who challenged these laws. However, it is also possible that a fictional character named Robin Hood was created by storytellers to explain how difficult life was for many people during this period in history. I'd like to think it's true. If you were a lady in waiting, queens during the Middle Ages would have had ladies in waiting to attend them. If you are destined to become a lady in waiting, you too will leave home at an early age to begin your training. Only girls from noble households can wait upon the noble ladies, including members of the royal family. Therefore, your training takes place in the noble household. You are expected to acquire excellent manners. You learn to dance, sew, and ride a horse. You learn to read and often speak a foreign language. You might even learn to be a skillful archer. Your many duties include helping you to dress your mistress, brushing her hair, helping her bathe. You also tend to her clothes, repairing them, and cleaning them. As with all ladies in waiting, the purpose of your training is to ensure you eventually marry a nobleman. Medieval musings. King John inherited a nickname that pokes fun at the fact that he did not have much land or wealth as other kings. What was his nickname? Skilled craftsmen made armor. What kind of craftsman did this? And the letter quest. Find the letter in the stained glass window and record it on activity page 2.3. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.